Hello everyone. Sorry for the shitty quality, but I'm just waiting for my car to defrost. I wanted to talk to you about something that's very close to my heart and is really a hilarious learning because my husband has been telling me this since I met him. It's taken me, 6 years to listen to him and actually take on board what he's saying. And that is how you talk to yourself really matters. It's actually probably one of the most fundamental things, right? Because we're the only people that live with ourselves in our own heads. And there was a time, and it still happens because, gosh, I've spent my whole life talking to myself cruelly. But there was a time where every single thing I said to myself was either directly unkind or was passive aggressive, or, and this is a really insidious one, was sort of self-deprecating. And I learned self-deprecation as a kind of, I think, protection mechanism to get there before anyone else would, which is understandable but is sad. And it became something that was like part of my humor. That's how I would make people laugh, is like by being self-deprecating. And the really tough thing about that is if you're being self-deprecating and then people are laughing, you've brought that upon yourself because you've technically made a joke that you're giving all the signs that like everyone, yes, let's join in and laugh at this. But like inside, it's not healed and it's actually quite serious. And maybe there's a little part of you that's hoping that someone will be like, no, don't say that about yourself, or no, that's not true. It's like you're waiting for someone to save you from yourself. But no one is going to save you from yourself. Even if Andrew tried, my husband, which he did, he couldn't do it because I wasn't ready to hear it. But now I'm at a point where it's like, I'm so fed up of the way I talk to myself. And it's been a process because I didn't understand that the way I talk to myself was not good, in the sense that it was particularly sort of cruel and mean, having survived and gone through and still going through CPTSD. But like, once you notice it, surely there's an obligation well, not an obligation, but once you notice it and you realize and you practice catching yourself saying those mean things to yourself, then that's when there's the opportunity to change it. I like to call my negative chatter in my brain, so that sort of like person that's constantly negative or constantly tearing me down or constantly looking for risks or constantly belittling me, as the shitty committee. And the shitty committee is like, I think, pretty normal. I'm pretty sure everyone has one. And in some respects, they do actually protect me. Like sometimes they have valid things to say. But most of the time, I kind of have to listen to them yap on in their little corporate suits, sitting around their little table, thinking that they're all that. And then I have to go, sorry, but thank you for looking out for me or trying to look out for me, but I don't need you today, and I don't need you on this particular topic. Thank you, bye, and walk out the room. And it's quite satisfying, actually, when you catch yourself being mean to yourself and then you say, no, I'm not having that today. And then you just move on with your life. It feels really freeing and really great. So then the next step, once you've then noticed and you've said no to the shitty committee, I feel like is learning and practicing how to speak nice things to yourself. And for me, this is like really small. It's like if Andrew catches me saying something mean to myself, which will be really like insidious now. Like I'll just say, oh yeah, I've not done much today, just sort of lazing around. And even that, so for some people that might not be something that they're literally just saying like, yeah, I was just, having a chill day. But for me, that's like me being mean to myself for having not been productive. He'll just be like, is there another word we can use for lazing? I'm just wondering if there's another word we could use that's doesn't have connotations with lazy. And I'm like, oh yeah, I guess there is. And then we'll just chat about it for a couple of minutes and get to the point where I'm saying like, flipping it on its head, how would I actually say what I mean? So what I actually mean is I've had a really lovely, restful day where I've invested in my health by resting, watching TV, taking the dog for a walk, making some nice food for myself. And I really needed it, and I really valued it, and I really appreciate myself for doing that for myself. What a different way of talking to yourself, you know? I'm not journaling at the moment. I did journal a lot earlier on in my journey, and I kind of got to the point where I was journaling so much that it was becoming too much, because I was also in trauma therapy, and I never got a break from thinking about like heavy emotional things. But with this specific reframing exercise, I think it's something that's could be really nice to do for journaling at the end of the day, where I kind of reflect back on like what I did and how I felt about it, and just catch myself going into that automatic, oh, it wasn't good enough kind of voice, and then rewriting it in a voice that is more compassionate. I also find it helpful to talk out loud, which is like part of why I make videos, but like I also just record myself talking whilst I'm on walks and things, which can be really helpful because I listen back to them and I can catch how I'm talking about myself. And it's like that thing where you don't really realize until you say it out loud exactly what you've been thinking. And even though I think when I'm talking out loud that I'm being nice to myself, I'm not. It's only when I listen back, I'm like, oh, okay. It's so important the way you talk to yourself, and it's really hard to change. So even in the process, you have to be so compassionate to yourself and like not beat yourself up. But that's a good practice. And I feel like all the things that can change in your life as a result of the way you talk about yourself are actually true. Like when I used to hear people say, oh yeah, I just had to like learn to speak nicer to myself and then all these great things happened. Like I actually see the power in that now. I really do. Of course, you can't change certain things about your circumstances that mean you're suddenly going to become like a billionaire if you start speaking nicely to yourself. But even if it's just the small things of like, I don't know, finding that you end up spending your time doing the things that you actually really want to do, or you end up actually feeling rested when you wake up in the morning, or you end up applying for a job or going to a new creative class that you never thought you'd have the guts to go to. It's those sorts of things, you know. Anyway, I don't know if that's something that resonates with anyone. I'd love to hear what you think and how you experience this. Some people don't have internal monologues at all, so maybe they don't have a shitty committee, and if that is you, I would love to hear about it because I'm fascinated. But yeah, the sun's coming up. My car is now nearly ready to go, so I'm going to go to the gym, and I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for talking with me. Bye.